Grey Zone Warfare is about to drop its first big update called Night Ops, and I was lucky enough to have a few days of playing it before it drops. Now, before we dive into all the new features of this update, let's address the major concerns the community has had, and that's optimization and AI. Have the devs fix this in the update? Let's take a look. Starting with the number one complaint the community has had in my comments, and that's the optimization side. Now, even on a beefy PC with an i9-13900K and a 4080, this game ran pretty poor. So for an average PC, this game is going to be borderline unplayable. And this showed with the player base dropping off an alarming rate not long after early access launch. Now, I'm going to keep everything maxed out in graphics for this so I can compare the change from the last version to now. I was sitting around 80 frames on the previous version, sometimes dropping down to 60. The results? Well, after a few hours, I'm a little disappointed to say it feels the same. Now, maybe they've optimized it for certain lower end cards a bit better, but for me now, I'm sitting around the same as I did before. Even with the 4080 graphics card, I'm dropping down to 60 frames quite frequently. Keep in mind, this is everything maxed out and I haven't played around with any settings, but still, I feel it should be sitting above 80 the whole time at a minimum. Don't get me wrong, it's fine for me, but I can only assume the same issues exist among the community with mid-tier machines. Once this drops on the 27th for everyone, please let me know how it's performing on mid-tier rigs in the comments. Moving on to hot topic number 2, addressing the AI. Now, Madfinger Games always said that it's going to take a little time with people playing the game for devs to gather data and for the AI to really start to act more alive to iron out some of these bugs and abnormal behaviors that we're seeing. Previously, I lost track of how many times I've seen the AI spin and one-tap me, nearly causing me to put my mouse through my monitor multiple times, only for the next raid to have me mag dump into an AI without armor, just to have them stand there looking like I threw a handful of rocks at them. But now, with all the ballistic data we've given them, have they made the necessary improvements? The results. I'm pleased to say this is where I've noticed some improvement. Ballistics seem to be a lot better. AI don't usually tank a whole mag of 5.56 to the chest with no armor on. Now, I say usually because there has still been a few instances where they have, but definitely a huge jump from the previous version. AI seem to be alerted a little less easily, and the whole map doesn't charge you once alerted, making it a little easier to run solo. Now let's disappear into the darkness and find out if this update has boosted this game to where we all expected it to be at launch. Now, my favorite thing so far about this update is looting upgrade. Finally, it's worth checking bodies and all the houses. I've been able to find gold chains, phones, pendants, watches, and heaps more high-value items that can top up that bank account. I'm yet to level up and start spending the cash, so I'll have to wait to find out how these balances work with buying gear, because we definitely needed more gear fear in the last version, and looting was essentially useless. Now, moving on to the graphics, and there is absolutely no surprises here. The one thing that had me hooked on Grey Zone Warfare to begin with was the attention to detail and the graphic fidelity depicting the Southeast Asian landscape. And as to be expected, they have nailed it again with adding the day-night cycles. The way the clouds move, the stars in the sky, they look real life with minimal light pollution, to the ambient sounds of getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. There really is no other game like it. Now, I've used a lot of older generation night vision in the past, and from what I'm seeing, they have created the most realistic night vision simulation I have ever seen. From the halos and glare from light to entering the thick canopy of the jungle and seeing the reduction in NVG quality, it really does hit the nail on the head in terms of realism. The more ambient light that is present, the better your NVGs perform. Hence, NVG is practically useless in primary jungle, even when using IR light for assistance. Now, it's time to dive into all the little upgrades that make a huge difference. In terms of quality of life updates, there is a ton of them. With sorting out your stash finally, to looting much quicker, now you can directly loot backpacks, rigs, and containers from the ground, eliminating that need for the awkward interactions and reducing time spent searching through inventory screens. But more importantly, you can loot comatose players to grab their meds to revive them, and that is something I've wanted since the start. So no more wasting your meds, just use your buddies because let's face it, he's probably going to die again not long from when you revive him. Another big one is being able to see how you killed the enemy. The new health and death screen got a sweet upgrade. It now shows bullet trajectories so you can see exactly where you were hit and how the shots traveled. Whether it was from a player or an AI, it gives you a clear breakdown of where the shots came from and where they landed, making it crystal clear how you took the damage. With this feature, you'll get a much better idea of enemy positions and attack angles, helping you tweak your tactics, dodge the same mistakes, and level up your situational awareness. Target identification also got a little easier, and I mean a little easier. PMCs will now display distinct shoulder patches representing their faction, but how this is going to help in those split-second decisions, I guess we're going to find out. It's always fun to have emotes, and now we have them. But to be honest, I don't think I've actually ever used them in a game for their intended purposes. Now, there is also a shit ton of other quality of life updates to go over, but I'm going to drop the link down below to the latest devlog where you can read all about them. For now, I think I've covered the best ones and the not so great ones. And for the 1000th time, yes, it's going to wipe. Will it continue to wipe every major update? They haven't said, but I'm going to assume it will, just like the Tarkov wipes. Anyway, to wrap it up and give you my final thoughts, it was refreshing to dive back into the game after a 4-month layoff, but is it enough to bring back a depleted player base and keep them coming back? With the biggest issue of optimization feeling like it's made very little progress, I predict a surge in the players over the next month, but once everyone's experienced all these awesome new features, then I think the player base is going to drop again. Now, I've said it from the start, I really do believe in this game and the future of it. The sky is the absolute limit in terms of potential, but I just don't know how they're going to balance this incredible map with the performance issues that are still there. Anyway, much love for sticking around to the end. Please hit that thumbs up to show some love, and I'll see you in Lemang. Always remember to stay tactical, and I'll catch you in the next video.